Okay, I will let you know for that. All right. For today, number 8, who will present?
Arika Hanun.
Okay, barangkali cutting juga bisa mengkoordinir yang mau presentasi, kirim WA ke cutting siapa saja atau ke grup WA kita, sehingga dari nama itu yang akan saya panggil ya, jadi nggak rebutan. Buat yang lain ketika temannya presentasi, silahkan kalian mencantumkan nama yang ingin presentasi hari ini. At least we can have 10 student today, more than 10 I think. Oke, saya lihat saja di sudut kiri saya, Arika Hanun, are you ready? Right, I'll give you time. Yang lain silahkan ya, masukkan namanya ke grup WA saja. Silakan, Arika.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I'm Arika Hairunisa, and today I'm going to discuss about you. It is about the children's story entitled The Tooth Fairies and the Cleaning Factory. It is a story by Zoni Mato. I get this story from Monkey Pen. It is a website that provides the lots of children's story that we can use to read it for our children, our little brothers and sisters, or our cousin, or our nephew, probably. It is a story for children around 2 until 5 years old. But before we discuss further about this book, about this story, I'm going to ask you a few questions. How well do you clean your teeth? How many times do you brush your teeth in one day? Well, based on your answer, it is all will determine your mouth condition. The better you clean, the healthier it gets. Okay, we begin the story based on the characters on the story. It is named after the types of tooth. The first one is incisor, the second one is canine, the third one is molar. It is a wonderful story that leaves its magic in the children's imagination.
You have homework.
While imparting on invaluable lesson in oral health and hygiene. The story begins with the fairies that were so busy to collect all the children's milk teeth that they collected at night. They were so happy.
So you must read it. Try to read it. Imagine it's a good story. And you can read it with like
this quality.
Kak, tolong mute dulu. Kak, bentar Kak, ada yang...
Sorry, Della suaranya masuk di ini kan, di mute kan dulu. Okay, Arika, go ahead.
Okay. But one day, the fairies found out that the teeth quality were very bad, very, very bad. They thought that they have to do something about it. Well, what will they do about it? Will they solve the problem? And what was the reason that made the children's teeth broken? Well, if you're curious about it, we'll find out about the problems after we read the entire story. I think that's all that I can deliver for you today. Thank you so much for your attention. For the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay healthy. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you, Arika. Give room for the listeners to guess because you are right. Do not tell the whole story, because by giving them room, they will ask what will the story ends. How is the end of the story? And then they will find out by finding or looking for the book. Okay, Arika Hanun, that's good. Azhar now, okay?
Yes, Miss. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, so maybe I will make it short. The children's book that I will present in front of you is Heidi. before I start, I want to ask you some question. I want to ask you, have you ever heard about this book, about Hades book before?
Yes,
Anyone,
it's
guys?
very famous story.
Yes. Well, uh, the story of Hades was was written over 100 years ago by Johanna Eyre. The story of an orphan girl in Swiss Alps, written in 1881, has long been one of the most beloved and best-selling children's classics in the world. Um, Heidi's story begins when she is orphaned at the age of 5 and sent to live with her exclusive and betrothed grandfather on the mountainside above a Swiss village. Heidi's grandfather has been estranged from the villagers for years and has resented the children's arrival. But she wins his affection with her enthusiasm and cheer. Her verbal idyll is cruel interrupted. However, when her aunt sent her to the city to be a hired companion to a wealthy girl in Wiltshire, Clara is delighted by her new friend, but the family strict housekeeper tries to respect Heidi's high spirits and the girl begins to wish away. And then, and then, fighting for her mountain home, the resolution of Hades' dilemma transformed the lives of everyone around her and has entranced reader for a generation with its vision of the joys of country life and power of love and friendship. And then there's some important point that I will show you in this book, that I will show you the moral message. There's some moral messages really important in this book. For example, the truthfulness that we can present in our lives can bring joy around us. And happiness can be present in a simple family, and also happiness is not always based on wealth. Maybe that's all for my present. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Azhar. Maybe one thing that we also need to tell the listeners is about the appropriate age for the audience of the book.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So the listeners who want or who plan to find a book for the class, for his or her class, for his or her groups of children in the neighborhood, will know that, oh, this book Heidi is appropriate for my children who is around. I think usually when the character is 5 or 6 or 7 years old, and the listeners is also appropriate for that age group also. Okay, so it is not difficult to determine how old is the age of the readers or the listener who are going to be the audience of the book. Okay, thank you, Azhar. But it is a very good choice of book, Heidi. Heidi is a favorite story for my granddaughter. Okay, she wants me to read the story again and again, and I think that is true. The moral of the story is very important for children. Thank you, Azhar, once again. And now let me call Della.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, your time, Della.
All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, gelap betul
So
wajah kamu,
today
Della.
I'm
Sorry,
going
Della.
to do a book talk.
I cannot see your face.
Ya,
Why?
Miss? Malam saya terang deh, Miss.
Kamu membelakangi jendela kali ya?
Bentar ya.
Muter haluan dah.
Iya, Miss. Sudah cerah
Nah,
sekarang.
okay, that's better. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so today I'm going to do a book talk. It's a children book called The Magic Finger, written by Roald Dahl. and illustrated by Quentin Blake. This book is a fantasy story written in 1962, and the age of this book is for all age. Neither the kids or adults can read it, especially for kids, because this book is really very easy to understand. And this book has 65 pages, including the cover and back cover. For me, this book can be read in one sitting. Each page of this book has a picture or illustration in it, but it's not fully drawn like the cover. So this is the cover of the magical finger, as you can see. And this is the inside of the book. It's just black and white sketch, but it's really easy to understand of the story. The Magic Finger is a story about a little girl who tried to stop Mr. Greggs and his children to hunting for fun. But sadly, they don't listen and even make fun of the little girl because try to stop them for hunting for fun. And that's make the little girl very, very angry. And by accident, her magic finger magically turned Mr. Gregg and his entire family into, I can't tell any spoiler because there will be a very another story if I tell what happened to them. So you must read it. The meaning of the title, The Magic Finger, was aimed at the little girl who had a magical powers on her fingers. Whenever she gets intensely angry, the finger shoots out of a beam energy to whoever has angered this little girl with unpredictable consequences. For me, this book is really interesting. It's really good to read for your siblings or maybe your family because you can read it just in maybe 10 or 15 minutes for a 65-page book. But obviously, this book has so many plot holes in it, like who is this girl, who is her name, or how she get this magic finger. There's no any other information in that. And I already tried to search another series of Magic Finger by Roald Dahl, but sadly, this is the only story that he has written. So that's all today from me. Thank you for listening and have a good day.
Thank you, Della. Okay, yeah, it is good if we ask the listener to guess the plot of the story. And Roald Dahl is one of the most famous writers in the world. I think he's from England and has written so many books for children. Very famous one. And usually those famous writers can live in a luxurious life just by the money that he or she earned from the book. Remember the Harry Potter's writers, okay, from teachers, and now she is a very rich person in England. Okay, let us now go to Selfie Dayanti. Selfie, where are you? All right.
I'm here.
Okay, time is yours.
Okay, can you hear my voice clearly? Yes. Okay. Today I'm going to show you a children's book by Ethan from Veris with the title of Fish with a Wish. I get this book online from free website called Kids for Fun, so you can check it later. And there are several free children's ebook that we can download on there. And yeah, because I just have the ebook version, so I only can show you the cover here. Can you see? Okay, so guys, I want to ask, have you ever feel so tired and get bored with your life?
Yes, of course, everybody does.
Okay. As a human, sometimes we are jealous of other people's life, and even though we don't really know that they also experience difficulties or struggles in their lives. So it's represented in this book. So this book has a story about a fish that trapped in a small tank or small aquarium, and this fish very unhappy with his life because he must live in a small place, and he kept complaining to himself that if his tank was smaller and then there wasn't enough room to enjoy, and the water is not too clear to enjoy, and he finds it too difficult to survive. So the fish is sad and wants to live freely, and he wants to be like the other animals that live free in the wild, in the sea, or maybe forest. Then one day he was visited by a beautiful little star. The star feels pity on him and told him that the star can grant his wish, but he could only ask for a wish once. So, what will this fish ask for? If you are curious, just read this ebook. So, A Fish with a Wish. This is very interesting book with a good moral message. This book can give us a lesson about finding what we really hope for in life and how to learn to be grateful for our lives now. And this book also has a simple illustration, and then this book is also interesting because it has rhymes. They are like poetry. I will show you. Please listen carefully. This tank is not fit for a fish to be in, said the fish as he tapped on the glass with his fin. No, I don't mean to mumble and don't mean to moan. And I don't mean to grumble and don't mean to groan. Please pardon my anger and pardon my tone. But is anyone there? Am I here all alone? So yeah, it has a rhyme, and this book consisting of 43 pages, but the font size of this book is way too small, so maybe it's quite difficult for small children, especially for 5 or 6 years old, to read this book. But as parents, grandparents, or maybe sister or brother, we can read this book to them. So yeah, I will very recommend this book as a children's book. And maybe I think that's all for today. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Selfie. A Fish with a Wish. Who is the name of the author? Selfie.
Ethan Conway Smith.
Could you show me the cover once again, please? Selfie.
Yeah.
Could you show me the cover of the book once again, please? The cover
This
of
is the
the book.
cover. Can you see it?
No, I cannot. Did you turn off the video? There is nothing I could see. Okay,
I have
maybe.
turned on my video.
Okay, maybe you just write down in our chat room. Okay, name of the writer. Yeah, because you know what, I'm preparing. Oh, okay, but I couldn't read the title. Just write it down in our chat room. I'm preparing a sessions nationwide for next May. It's a webinar done by KPBA, Kelompok Pencinta Bacaan Anak, and I'm one of the speakers. My topic is about bibliotherapy, meaning that we can use books, we can use stories to heal, to treat children, especially when they had just suffered from trauma. Jadi ada sesi webinar, entah apakah boleh untuk mahasiswa nanti. Saya adalah salah satu pembicaranya, dan saya kira judul buku Selfie tadi, Office with a Wish, itu barangkali bisa diambil sebagai salah satu contoh agar anak-anak bisa merasakan bahwa apa yang dia rasakan itu belum bisa jadi tidak apa-apa untuk bukan apa-apa buat orang lain. Artinya penderitaannya tidaklah luar biasa untuk orang lain. Masih banyak orang lain lagi yang mengalami hal-hal yang lebih buruk. Jadi it's a trauma healing therapy using books. Jadi kalau ada judul buku yang bagus, biasanya saya ingin tahu ke dalamnya. Tapi ini e-book ya, Selfie ya, bisa diakses online ya. Okay, thank you, Selfie. Okay, next I would like to hear from Aditya. Aditya,
Miss.
where are you? Okay, Aditya
I'm
Rizky.
here. Okay.
Yeah, it's your time.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. The book that
Morning.
I want to talk today is very easy to read, especially for children. And this book also very enjoyable to read for adults like us. So it's actually for all age. And the book title is Winnie the Pooh, written by Alan Alexander Milne. This book is very popular, so I'm 100% sure you already heard what is Winnie the Pooh, who is Winnie the Pooh, who is Christopher Robin. So what makes this book interesting is, in every new chapter in this book, it introduces us into a new character and a new story revolving around this new character together with Pooh. This new character is like Pooh friends like the piglet, rabbit, donkey, owl, and the others. So I'm going to begin to read the first chapter of this book. And the first chapter of this book, I think, is the most interesting one. In the first chapter of this book is about the character trying to find honey, but the problem is he doesn't really want to mess with the bees. So he have a tactic. He tell Christopher Robbins to blow a balloon, and then he want to fly with those balloon to steal those honey. But unfortunately, the bee gets suspicious and start to fly around. Not going to read you next, but I'm going to tell you the second chapter, what I think is interesting. And the second chapter, Pooh got full of honey and butter after he feed from the rabbit, his friend. He go to the rabbit house, he get fed by honey and butter, and then when he want to go home, he cannot get out from the rabbit hole. So he gets stuck on the rabbit hole for a whole week, and he asks the rabbit to call Christopher Robin, but when Christopher Robin come, Christopher Robin cannot help Pooh. So he tell Pooh that he should get stuck in those hole for a whole week without any food, so his stomach will shrink. And of course, I cannot tell you who is Christopher Robin and who is the rabbit because I want you to read this book. And it is very interesting to see the hilariousness of the Winnie the Pooh and how creative he is. And I'm sure you all will enjoy reading Winnie the Pooh. Thank you. That's all I think for my presentation.
Aditya Rizky. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh is a very popular story for children worldwide. Okay, so one of the benefit of choosing a very popular or famous story is that uh, there is a guarantee, quote unquote, that the story will be very interesting. Okay, thank you. Good choice.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, let me ask my husband to reduce his voice. Uh, is his voice? Can you hear his voice?
Ada
Are you
mobil.
disturb? Okay, let me. Sorry for that. All right. The next one is Sandro. Sandro, are you now ready? Sandro, all right.
Yes, Miss.
Wow, Sandro kayak pilot.
Good morning.
Morning.
As
Delay suaranya ya.
Thank you, Miss. Have you ever looking, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Frank Baum is a classic that reaches human potential. In a wonderful Wizard of Oz, a girl named Dorothy is stuck in the magical land of Oz and needs to find a way home. The only way she can go home is that she has to kill the wicked witch of the West. Is she willing to kill the witch? Will Dorothy ever go home? Find out by reading The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Personally, the interesting part of the book is the character development. Each character has its motive and unique characteristics. I love how the book leaves a cliffhanger at the end of every chapter. My favorite quotation of the book is, "The true courage is in facing the danger when you are afraid." Even though this is a children's book, it has a mind-blowing twist at the end of the story. I hope you will consider to read this English classic. You won't regret this, reading The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Thank you.
Thank you. Very short, but very informative. Thank you, Sandro. Wizard of Oz is also a very classic story, but famous worldwide. All right. Next is Della. Della, where are you? Della katanya
Yes,
mau
Miss.
presentasi. Oke, silakan Della.
Loh, saya tadi sudah, Miss.
Loh, sebentar. Oh, sorry, bukan Della. Saya mencatat judul bukunya kok ada nama kamu muncul lagi. Next one is Yoga. Sorry.
Yes. Hold on.
Yoga. I'm sorry, Della.
It's okay, Miss. Saya juga kaget.
Okay.
Silakan Yoga. Time is yours.
So without further ado, I'll keep this a bit brief. So I do want to ask a bit of question. When do you guys ever first learn of astronomy? If you don't remember when age, can you say when grades do you first know about astronomy? Grades.
Third grade.
Okay, if not, then I will say that it is about around when I was elementary high school. I always have fond memories of repeatedly going back to the library, reading astronomy books. I remember being so fascinated.
About planets, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, you have to see my grandson. He's 4
Well,
years old. Okay,
and the story here is called The Stellar One by Daniel Errico. It is a simple, short and sweet 700-word story that I found on the free childrenstories.com, a website for children books, meant for kids on the age of 8 to 10. Yes. The story doesn't have any humans in it. It only contains personified planets that can talk, or more specifically, a green rock, or a rock that glows green when shown by the sunlight. She is a happy and kind rock that floats near a big blue planet. As time passes, sky by sky, day by day, year by year, revolution by revolution, she longs to travel to other planets to see what they like. And as she eventually did, she managed to spin and fling shot towards the other planet. That's a hint there. Yes. And of course, she does to see all different kinds of planets. What kind of planets? You have to see for yourself. Is it our solar system, or is it a different type entirely? But then she eventually goes back to where she came from. But it is not the same as it used to be. What happened? You also have to find out. But I will say that while it is simple, it is kind of a good twist. Do you know that time when you are being led purposely by someone else, but because you're being led, you're missing many critical details? Something like that, yes. It's definitely a simple story. If we were to just ignore the fact that it is unique and it doesn't have any humans, I don't think it's anything special, but it has quite a good twist here and there. You have to find out for yourself why. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Make me curious. Yoga, why don't you write the title of the book and also the name of the writers in our chat room? Thank you, Yoga.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yes. Next one would be Eddie.
Yes, Miss.
Right. Okay, you can
Okay.
start, Eddie.
Good morning, friends. My name is Edi
Morning.
Putra. Today, I will discuss the book Talk, a book, a children's book called Curious George. This is the first book written and illustrated by Margaret Ray and H.A. Ray. This book is for children aged 4 until 7 years old. So let's start with the simple question.
Itu yoga ngapain itu? Mutar-mutar.
So, who
Go ahead.
here doesn't know about George? Yes, George is a little curious monkey. When George was still living in the jungle of Africa, he saw a man in yellow hat. He was very curious about the yellow hat. Then the man put his yellow hat on the ground, and George was very curious and took it and put it on, but it was too big and made George unable to see. The man called George and took him to a ship. The man said to George that he would like to take him to the zoo. He would love it. Then George arrived on the ship. He saw a seagull flying. He was very curious and wanted to fly too, but he fell into the sea and the sailors helped him back to the ship. When he arrived in town, George followed the man with the yellow hat to his house. In the next morning, he saw the man in the yellow hat on the telephone. George was again curious. He wanted to make the phone too. He pressed the button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he called the fire department. And the fire department thought it was a real fire and came to George's location. But all they found was a monkey playing on phone. Then the firefighters were annoyed and put George in the prison. But not long after, George was able to escape from the prison. How did he escape without the guard noticing? You have to read the book yourself. So after escaping from the prison, George saw a little girl buy balloons for his brother. Again, you all will know what's going to happen. Yes, George was curious again. He wanted to take the red balloons, but instead the red balloons, he took the wool balloons and flew upward in the wind. George flew and saw everyone become small like a doll. Soon the wind was gone and George went down and they landed on the traffic. People were shocked and the traffic got chaotic. George was confused and heard someone calling him, George! It was the man in the yellow hat. George was happy and meant to. Then they went to the place that George would like, a zoo. So the reason I choose this book is that George has been very related with my children era, and almost all children know who is George and the man in the yellow hat. And these books teach us that it's okay to be curious about something because we will know new things from that curiosity as long as it is good. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, I've just written in our WhatsApp that I hope everybody who present today and also last week to write down the name of the books that that they present and also the name of the writers in our WhatsApp group. Okay, Eddie, thank you. Curious George. I think I have read that story somewhere. The Curious Java Monkey. Okay, it's a very interesting one. Okay, tell children about being curious is okay. Right now, let us now listen to what Mingli has to say. Mingli.
Ya, Miss.
Ya, silakan.
Terus. Oke, baik, Miss. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We will talk about book that written by Charles Dickens entitled Christmas Carol. This book tells the story about Christmas and an old man who was dependent at Christmas. The name of the man is Ebenezer Scrooge. This old man is an owner of a company named Scrooge and Marley. Marley is the name of his partner, Jacob Marley, but Marley had already died. But 7 years after Marley died, one night a ghost came who was the spirit of Marley. The ghost came with chain tied all over his body. These chains were the result of the curse he had to receive for having done evil in his lifetime. The ghost come to warn Scrooge and explain that Scrooge can live and die in peace without the curse. And Scrooge will meet three ghosts. That the first ghost is the past Christmas ghost, and the second is the present Christmas ghost, and the last one is the future Christmas ghost. And after meet and following the three ghosts, Scrooge repented and become a good and happy person. And for the another story that's told in the book, you can read by yourself. And if you want to read this book, you can find it at Litgen. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mainly, it would be much better if you just remember what you want to say and then present it in your own words, okay, without reading or whatever. Just you, for example, you have about 10 to 15 sentences about the book, and then you just speak naturally to your audience, okay? I know that you have prepared well. Thank you, Mingli.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay. Please write down the title and also the writers of the book that you present. Astri now. Sebentar, saya nyalakan AC dulu sebentar ya. Ya, Astri, silahkan.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone. My name is Astri Octaviani. I choose the Magic Finger book by Roald Dahl. This book tells about a girl who has a special finger. If someone makes him angry and he can control himself, then he can punish that person with his magic finger. And one day, the Greg family, who have a hobby of hunting and killing animals, made this girl angry because of their actions. And then the girl used her magic finger to punish Greg's family. And the next day, the Greg family turned into birds because of their habits of shooting at birds. And they also switched position for several hours, knowing how the life of the birds. And then the Greg family had a chance to feel how to become a bird who lives in a cake and eat ants or caterpillars on the tree because they felt that the Greg family was sorry for the bandage they used so. And from this book is really good for children because the Magic Hand is a pictorial story and the language used is also very easy to understand, and this book is full of imagination. It can develop and encourage children's creativity that they have ever seen before. And from this book I have a lesson, and the lesson is that we can take like humans and animals so that they can live side by side with each other, and the lesson can teach us to love animals. Okay, I think that's all for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Okay, thank you, Astri. Magic Finger, the book, the same book that your friend also has mentioned before. Okay. After Rizan, I do not see any other name after Rizan. Wait. Okay, there will be Patrick afterward. Yeah, Rizan, time is yours.
Miss, saya udah presentasi minggu lalu, Miss.
Oh, kenapa ada namanya muncul di sini?
Kan itu buat list buku yang kita presentasikan.
Oh, oke. Saya hanya melihat setelah Risan ada nama. Oke, iya, iya. Patrick minggu lalu, ya sudah ada namanya betul. Iya. Saya hanya melihat nama setelah 10, 11 ada Patrick. Saya pikir Patrick mau presentasi. Alright, Risan.
Yes, Miss. But can I ask something, Miss?
Yes.
Can I close my video because I'm in hospital right now?
Because of what? What is the reason for closing the video?
Saya mau ngecek up Miss, luka saya habis tabrakan, Miss. Jadi
Oh. Tapi kamu bisa presentasi nggak?
bisa, kalau ngomong aja bisa, Miss.
Oh, oke. Ya, nggak apa-apa, silahkan.
Okay. I'm here to represent a book called Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, the first volume. Okay. Have you ever heard about Charlotte's Web's a heartwarming story from I don't know to say, but this is an animal story that makes your heart feel warm if you read it and makes your heart feel sad if you finish to read it. The story is about an amateur pig that was born in a farm that want to be killed by the father character in this story, and the pig is so cute that makes the daughter of the man in the farm don't want his father to kill the pig. And after that, the pig is being fed by the daughter in his farm, and eventually the pig has been moved away to some place that near the farm itself, but there's a different story in there. If you want to know the story of the pig, you should read the book Charlotte's Web. And in another farm, the pig has a great story with some friends, some new memories, some new, love that makes your heart feel so warm if you read it. And by the ending, the book had the reader makes the reader feel so sad because of the ending is so touch your heart. If you want to read it, please if you want to know the story, please read the book of Charlotte's Web of E.B. White. The book is on the Amazon or Shopee or something else like that, web selling, and you can buy it now for sure. Thanks for listening to me and goodbye.
Okay,
That's all
thank
for me,
you.
Miss.
Thank you, Risan. By the way, what accident do you have? Did you have?
I have a bicycle accident, Miss.
Were you seriously injured?
Yes, I think so.
And you are still at home. Are you at home?
I'm in car right now in the park of hospital. Jadi nunggu bagian check up, Miss. Karena kalau turun kan ada kalau numpuk itu kan nggak sesuai protokol, Miss. Jadi harus nunggu check up di mobil.
Di mana? Nunggu di mana kamu?
Saya nunggu di parkiran mobil, Miss. Jadi nanti kalau misalkan ada dipanggil, nanti ada dokternya yang manggil ke
Kamu
dalam.
di mana?
Jadi
Sekarang di daerah mana kamu? Di Samarinda bukan?
Di Tenggarong, Miss.
Tenggarong.
Iya.
Oke. Mudah-mudahan nggak ada apa-apa ya, Risan ya.
Ya, oke, Miss. Sebenarnya kecelakaannya udah lama, Miss. Cuma masih rehat.
Saya kira baru kejadian. Oke, take care. Hati-hati juga kalau berurusan dengan orang medis karena mereka bisa saja dari lingkungan rumah sakit yang sekarang ini ketika banyak orang yang sudah divaksin, barangkali ada euforia, mereka merasa aman, tapi kita yang di luar sana itu yang masih belum divaksin itu ya tidak aman ya. So please be careful. Jangan terjadi hal-hal yang tidak kita harapkan. Thank you.
Siap, Miss.
Ya. Masih ada yang mau presentasi because we still have time actually. Tapi nama yang mendaftar sudah habis. Ya. Wahyu.
I have some story with my friend. Can I still represent it today? Present it today? Or next?
Wahyu mau presentasi?
Ya, tapi sama ceritanya dengan teman saya tadi, Miss.
Patrick sama dengan Risan. Terus yang Magic Finger juga ada 2 tadi ya. I think that's all. That's okay because it depends on how you present the book. I don't think you are using the same word, the same language, right? Silahkan Wahyu kalau karena tidak disengaja ya. Sehingga ya akhirnya we learn something that actually it is better if the student mention the title of the book that he or she is going to present, so there won't be any repetition. Tapi tidak masalah, silakan Wahyu gunakan kesempatan yang ada untuk mempresentasikan buku yang sudah kamu pilih.
Yes, Miss. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I will tell you about story. The title is Curious George. Curious George is the main character of a series of popular children books and TV episodes of the same name. Is Curious George. Is written by Margaret and H.A. Ray. George, who is referred to as a monkey in the books, was brought from his home in Africa by the man with the yellow head. They are best friends and they are live together in the city and the country. From this book, we can learn about Curious George is have creativity even though it is messy, but in the end is always valuable. The next is Curiosity is a new adventures. And the third, Curious George always appreciate whatever other people do. And then the last, always be grateful with everyone. That's all for me, Miss.
Okay, thank you. Your friend has just also mentioned about the same book, Curious George. Is it yoga or someone? Siapa tadi ya, Curious George itu? Right, resikonya mencari buku online barangkali itu ya yang muncul di atas mungkin dipilih bersamaan oleh beberapa mahasiswa. Anyway, the way you present is not the same. So every presentation worth the effort. All right. Anyone else would like to present? We still actually have several minutes to go. It is now 10:35. We still have 15 minutes. Anyone want to present? Masih ada yang mau melanjutkan presentasinya? Hikmatul Fajar sudah ya?
Sudah, Miss.
Sudah ya, Hikmatul Fajar ya. Oh ya, sudah minggu lalu. Siapa yang belum di sini? Nini, Astri, Risan, Patrick, Lo, Serena. Ya, Ulhak sudah. Ya. Nampaknya tidak ada lagi yang mau presentasi. Berarti we have 19. Ya, sisanya minggu depan mestinya selesai. Tapi saya akan pada minggu yang sama saya akan mengirimkan materi lanjutan dari materi yang sudah saya siapkan. Di beberapa minggu terakhir ini ada 5 minggu terakhir kita akan membahas. Kita akan lebih ada 4 pertemuan lagi kalau tidak salah di pertemuan ke-15 saya akan melakukan review of all the materials untuk persiapan ujian minggu ke-16. 4 atau 5 topik terakhir ini adalah membahas bagaimana dampak peran buku cerita terhadap perkembangan bahasa anak, terhadap perkembangan berpikir anak, cognitive development, terhadap perkembangan sosial. Anak-anak dengan membaca buku atau dibacakan buku memiliki model gambaran bagaimana mereka harusnya bersikap di ranah sosial, ya, bagaimana dia harus menghormati orang lain, bagaimana dia harus memperlakukan teman-teman sebayanya, hal-hal yang sangat bermanfaat yang mestinya tidak didapatkan oleh anak-anak yang tidak mengenal buku sejak kecil. Jadi dari kecil itu dia memiliki seperangkat tata aturan, ya kalau tata aturan mungkin nampaknya tidak menarik buat anak-anak. Dia memiliki pengetahuan bagaimana dia harus bersikap, bagaimana contoh-contoh yang ada dari karakter yang dibacakan itu membuat panduan mereka bisa diterima dengan bersikap dengan baik di lingkungannya. Sesuatu yang dirasakan atau didapat anak-anak secara tidak langsung adalah language development, cognitive development, itu sangat-sangat powerful. Ya. Mereka yang rutin dibacakan buku cerita oleh orang tuanya itu memiliki kemampuan bahasa yang lebih unggul dari teman-teman yang tidak rutin dibacakan buku. Mereka memiliki critical thinking yang bagus karena melakukan prediksi itu salah satu dari aktivitas yang biasanya dilakukan oleh mereka yang membacakan dengan benar, dan itu berkontribusi dalam kemampuan berpikir. I think all the last 4 of, I don't remember, is it 4 or 5 topics about the impact of books on children's development. Satu hal juga yang ingin saya ingatkan adalah di akhir semester, kalian selain ujian final juga harus submit 1 buku cerita yang kalian karang sendiri, ya, tidak boleh nyontek. You need to illustrate the books. Ilustrasinya boleh your drawing, atau bisa menggunakan bantuan aplikasi komputer, it's up to you. Tapi pastikan bahwa ilustrasinya mendukung jalan cerita. Kalau yang namanya picture books itu jumlah halamannya biasanya hanya maksimal 20 halaman, dan karena namanya picture books biasanya kalimatnya itu sedikit. Barangkali juga jumlah kalimatnya hanya, kalau 20 kalimat ya juga tidak ya, karena 1 halaman ada 3 atau ada 4, tapi ada juga 1 halaman hanya 1 kata. So what is important is the idea behind the story. So please be prepared for that. Anak mahasiswa kelas A, saya ingatkan juga kalian akan ada 2 tagihan dari saya. Satu lagi adalah menyusun proposal, tesis proposal. Itu juga tagihannya adalah di akhir semester. So either you develop your children books now and save your time for writing your thesis proposal. It depends on you. Saya kira kalian bisa mengatur waktu. Saya akan mengirimkan nanti contoh tesis proposal, gambarannya bagaimana. Tapi paling tidak saat ini kalian harus sudah memiliki outline dari proposal yang akan ditulis untuk tugas akhir mata kuliah ini. Ya, dengan memiliki outline, kalian sudah memiliki gambaran apa saja informasi yang masih perlu saya cari untuk melengkapi proposalnya nanti. Oke, jadi dari 2 mata kuliah saya, kebetulan untuk kelas A itu ada thesis writing dan children books, picture books yang akan jadi tagihan. Silahkan gunakan waktu dengan baik. Ya, saya tidak ingin mendengar kalian nanti menggerutu di belakang karena dua-duanya itu adalah bagian dari latihan dan bukti bahwa kalian you learn something from this class, from these two classes. Okay? Kalau ada yang bingung-bingung, silahkan ditanyakan nanti di grup WA kita ya, grup chat kita. I think that's all, everybody. Hari ini saya hitung dulu ya, ada berapa orang yang presentasi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 students. That's better than last week because I came very late last week. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you again next week. Next week, I will also send you material for children literatures. And of course, thesis writing will be sent this afternoon. I still need to write the guideline for your thesis proposal. I'm not done with that. That's why I still need time. And I will send you at around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Is it 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock? What time did I promise you? Saya janji jam berapa ya kirim materi? Ya?
2 o'clock kalau nggak salah, Miss.
Jam 2.
Bentar saya cek.
Iya, anyway, saya akan kirimkan sesuai janji saya. Masih ada sedikit lagi panduan yang belum saya selesaikan. Thank you everybody. Take care. And also Risan, be careful ya, hati-hati ya yang naik motor. Kita sekarang menghindari berurusan dengan rumah sakit karena khawatir terkontaminasi di sana. So please be careful everybody. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Miss.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.